Used to shut down the Akali. Lissandra, very common up against that one. You aftershock, you throw a bunch of stuff into the Shroud, you survive. And you're feeling pretty good if you can one combo her as well. So, bit of safety going to jungle most likely. What will be the third pick though? Covering that Kai'Sa for now.
Blind pick 80 carry priority has been different team on team. A lot of teams will take Ezreal on this position. A lot of other teams take Lucian. So Kai'Sa, kind of a surprising flex from those two. It's not necessarily a rank outsider, and in other regions it's higher prized. You have a lot of CC coming from Lissandra, so you see the synergy for the Kai'Sa, but I guess Root just wants to go on to some comfort, as actually KT will first round Alistar for SnowFlower. He loves the engaged supports, and some teams have had a bit of priority on Alistar, but I think you need coverage bans to make a first round Alistar work, and already seeing one from KT Rolster.
It's the Alphabet Squad, the A Squad here on the side of KT, Aatrox, Akali, and Alistar.
What do we got left?
There's Aurelion Sol.
That could work in this comp. We could have Aatrox jungle.
Yeah.
Wait, do we have an 80 carry that starts with A? Ashe? Yeah.
There you go.
All right, let's do it.
Is there anything above any of those champions? Anything above Alistar? I don't think so. Oh, there you go. But that's after L.
That's true.
So there's AK and then AL and then AM.
There is AA. Aatrox is for
that
some
he was
Google.
The first pick.
I know, it's from the
We're still alphabetical order here, Papa.
Annie would also be afterwards.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of A champions now that I think about it. Well, the Lucian finally going to be banned by Jeon. Did this ban Ezreal as well? No, they will not. They choose to ban away the Zoe here. A favorite from BDD is just a straight up Vladimir lock comes in for KT Rolster.
Didn't waste any time with that one. Somebody will be hopping onto that one. Wonder if it's going to be Zenit. Played the what's it called? The Victor in game number 1. Could hop onto another awesome dude, or we could just throw Aatrox into the jungle.
My first thought is Smeb on the Vladimir. We'll get the confirmation later as compositional answer to Vladimir locked in by Jinair. I believe they also have played Taric already. There was one game of Taric already played in LCK, and it was by Kellen. But that was where they fell so far behind at level 1 against Griffin that Taric ult was never relevant. Malrang jumping onto the Lee Sin. It's one of his few meta picks. That way he follows the tier list rather than going with what works for him. Fun to see Malrang on the Lee Sin in this game. From ahead, Taric is so good against Vladimir because you're able to use the ult at the right timing, but because you have such a long delay from behind, if you're caught in transition, if you don't have all your buttons ready to go, Taric just ends up being an afterthought. Could say kind of the same thing about Lulu in game number 1. So let's see if Jin are a bit more on point with having that Cosmic Radiance to answer the Hemoplague.
Kellen, not the strongest game in game number 1. We did call him out there from time to time. His Braum was a little bit shaky. We'll see if he can pilot the Taric here in that compositional answer. And take a look at the players that are playing the different champions. I'm sure this might not make you too happy as Smeb returns to the Akali for now. And Zenit is going to be on the Vladimir. Doesn't mean that BDD is on Aatrox, which I can't be too unhappy about, though.
So it means Smeb gets some vengeance. He wants to show that it was an aberration a couple of days ago against Kingzone. In the past, has been such a famous mage top player, Rumble, Cannon. These are legendary picks for Smeb, but he looked off on the Akali earlier in the week. Time to pull up his socks and have a better performance here. It's against Jinair. It's a team that I think a lot of teams will be able to use to play themselves into form. Jinair draft, though, if they can get a lead and Malrang can do some playmaking, the amount of value you can get off the Cosmic Radiance could mean that Jinair might still have some arguments they can stay in this series and not go down without a fight.
Super scary composition if you're in solo queue or in competitive play here. Lots of aggression if you win your lane and you get ahead. No doubt BDD, Smeb, Score, and even Zenit are going to be clamping down there as the game does move along. But it looks like we're ready, guys, to hop into game number 2. Jinair on blue, KT on red. Let's jump onto the Rift right now. waiting on that one until KT as a team showed up on screen. All the fans still here, cheering, even after that long, drawn-out game number 1.
Had a couple of more long games this week. Kind of spoiled by the 30-odd minute average game time in week number 1. I think in general, the best teams are still playing short games, so that part shouldn't change too much. Looking at the rune choices here, Kellen going for Unsealed Spellbook. On the Taric, could be very useful in this game because switching over to Exhaust is looking like something you'd like to do as much as possible. When we've seen some people lane into Vladimir, even on a Kai'Sa, you might consider something like the Corrupting Potion that we've seen sometimes. Kai'Sa finds it hard to fit the lifesteal into the build. So how you contend with level 7 to level 9 Vladimir, probably going to be a tricky thing. Maybe even a return to an oldie in tier Taric might actually be recommended here just to find sustain, because otherwise Vladimir can just chip you down and Xin can be there to finish you off.
Can't wait to see if Smeb can return to the Akali and actually have a better performance this time around. Fleet footwork once again here, becoming more and more common for the Akali, just for the sustain and the extra movement speed. Both things that Akali is going to be happy with, especially in the early game.
Malrang going to be going for a pretty proactive move here. Because of the first roam to the mid lane, they're just trying to guarantee the Scuttle Crab, as I'm sure you're amused by the stun missing onto the Scuttle Crab.
Like the idea, execution a little bit off the mark there. It's good, you know, you clear the Scuttle a lot faster. You can open up Malrang to double Scuttle once again. Up against Score.
Not often you double Scuttle a Xin, but because of getting first access to the minion wave, which was granted by Malrang soloing the buff, and the Kai'Sa and Taric entering lane first. Very innovative here. This is a really cool thing, and Jin have had isolated really cool things for us to learn from. Again, how good was Malrang on the Xin in that first game of the season against Jin-air. Sorry, against SK Telecom T1. So the double Scuttle here. 2 games in a row against Score, one of our biggest Scuttle Crab aficionados in the 2018 summer season.
Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt that Malrang's going to get first blood again, and then they're going to slowly struggle in the mid-game. I would be happy to be proven wrong, but that's kind of been the build order here from the side of Jin-air in a lot of these early LCK games.
Speaking of build order, the Zenit started with a Ruby Crystal that feels like a Rumble top-only item. Almost never see this as a starting item. It's a very, very early Kindle Gem is going to be coming out of that towards the Proto Bell. Same reason that Sapphire Crystal start comes from GP to get a faster sheen. Other item it builds into is the flat magic penetration of the Oblivion Orb, but do imagine that the mobility provided by the Proto Bell going to be preferred.
It's a very nice CSing under turret here by Root and Kellen. I was actually mesmerized by that for a while. Good teamwork. I don't believe they missed a single one before the camera was pulled away on the last 3 minions. In comes Malrang. He's putting down an assistance ping, but nothing happening here.
We'll be able to get a pretty uninterrupted level 4. Level 6, though, is already at level 4. And 1 camp ahead of a Xin. And again, anything you can get to find yourself very competitive with a champion that has a skirmishing advantage over you pre-ultimate is good work to the side of Jin-air. Like that particular early game plan. Throwing out the Krugs here, just moving along slowly. I'm interested to see if we see any funny business from Kellen and Root in terms of the build here to contend with where Vladimir gets in this lane phase. Maybe Malrang's gank can change things, but will be spotted by a lane ward.
Score himself spotted coming in from the river. Both junglers just hanging around, not going to happen, as both teams know. This is coming in. We had a little point from the side of Score. He actually picked up Futures Market once again, I believe, and was able to get some items there. Nice trade here in the mid lane from BDD, looking pretty good on the Aatrox. We'll see if he can carry once again.
I'm a really big fan of Warrior Enchant champions that go into the Futures Market, just because Warrior Enchant is so overloaded in terms of stats, so gold efficient when you finish it. Red Smite and Longsword means that Malrang, with a later shot, will still be trading down against Xin-Zhao, and he, of course, hit the map with those items earlier. One of the main reasons that Malrang instantly started backing on the bot side was to get his shop on. Warrior will be in soon, but Malrang himself going to be sighted in mid lane.
BDD not scared, picks up the cannon. Wasn't going to let that one go. Doesn't matter if he's 2-on-1. Just passing through is Malrang. See how aggressive he gets here as Score is spotted on a ward. Wow, they're going in. Looks like they want to get on top of him. Score gonna flash away, but it doesn't matter. First blood, as I said, goes to Malrang. Picks it up again. Nice play from Chung-ho to make it all happen.
And it's oh so clean, and I love the choice here. Gank for the Lissandra in the early game pre-6, and then you can go top lane. You need the level 6 against Akali to kick her out of the Shroud. Stop her from dodging more damage. Will they get level 6 and then just go for the turret dive? I think there's a real chance.
Looks like he will. There it is, level 6.
Shroud's down on cooldown as well. Is Malrang going to stick around? The minion wave is dead, so for now, the answer is no.
Looks like Smeb also backing, so they're not going to go for this. Look at the angle
Score
he goes
knows
for.
he's boned. The moment that he sees the claw come in, all you can do is flash and hope. Not going to work there.
I think you got to flash the other way. You know, north way, I suppose.
Towards the red buff, I guess that probably would have been the best choice.
Yeah. It's just hard, you know. Lissandra sneaking her way over the wall. Saw it coming, but it's hard to make that split-second decision.
Score himself is onto this Cloud Drake. SnowFlower slowly helping with it, but Malrang not there yet.
Kellen looking for the ultimate vision in the pit. No Tarek steal coming in this time around, guys.
The last time we saw Smeb on the top lane matchup on the Akali was marginally ahead in CS till it made a couple of misplays in lane, and then, of course, we noted some misplays in teamfights. The misplay in lane was kind of related to the misplay in teamfights. It was about Shroud positioning. He was too liberal and using it as, that happened.
Well, I'm glad our observer caught the tail end of that one. No doubt we're going to catch the replay as he just ticked down to Ignite. BDD was already back farming minions, so we didn't even realize until the kill did come in. Chung-ho, no ult. Did have his flash, but was taken by surprise, no doubt.
Watch the replay here. Pretty even health bars to begin this. We know Lissandra's ult is on cooldown, and Chung-ho just gets straight up punked by BDD.
Knew he was dead. Has to flash, I suppose, to make sure, but it's a split-second move by BDD. Wasn't expecting that aggression coming out of him, but you always should when it's BDD in the mid lane.
Really nicely done. Just understood the scenario, knew his damage ranges. That is the BDD. That was a lone hand on a Kingzone Dragon X Summer season team that fell apart around him. KT Rolster having similar struggles very early in the season, but this is BDD's rebound game where he reminds us that on farm, there are, at best, a handful of players in the mid lane better than him around the world.
And it's also a shining beam of light on the side of the KT fans. Multiple different lanes struggling. We talked about the bottom lane, but also Smeb having his struggles. Score as well. We'll see if this dive comes in, though. They're going 3-man onto Smeb here. There's the flash on in, into the stun, and see you later. Fear Beyond Death gonna take care of those minions. They're gonna pick up a bunch of gold on the top side as well, so nice little roam coming in from Jin Air.
Finally, we found the answer to Akali top. It's Urgot, Lee Sin, and Lissandra coming at the same time. No counterplay to that. Literally the only way to get away was to use your ultimate and E instantly when you thought anyone could be coming. But then you don't know for sure. If there's no third person, you don't need to invest all those extra abilities. So in this case, Smeb doesn't use it, and he's going to lose the maximum. In this case, it's an entire turret pre-10 minutes.
Yeah, and they are going to stay for this one. Malrang with the tankiness to make it happen. Down it does go. First blood turret to the side of Jin Air. And Chung-ho pretty happy to, you know, take that hit in the mid lane, not too sad about it.
But this is the change in how the game is played, Valdez. Literally, there's CS for CS until this moment, and then a kill, the turret plating goes down, and it's 1,000 gold lead purely from this one play.
That's all it takes, I suppose, with the new patches that we have had and the plating on the turrets. If you can get a big dive off and take out the top laner with no one to help him, you're just going to pick out an insane amount of gold. And so now Lindarang going to be pretty happy about his position in this game.
And then in the current meta, with how it plays out, it's what do you do with this extra gold early? Because if you just go CS for CS in the top lane again, you're not doing anything with the gold lead. If you use the top lane turret being down to go for some aggressive ganks topside, and Ghost Ignite does tell me, hey, Malrang's coming top lane again, we're going to kill you. You have a lot of different ways to use leads, and I think the teams that win the best are the teams that use their leads promptly, that use their leads to get objectives very early in the game, and that don't wait for scaling to come in. That is so much the story of the 2019 meta. So Lindarang right now can't join. He doesn't have teleport available with his Ghost and Ignite, and Malrang's just finding multiple KT members rotating through his jungle.
That was a visual bug, by the way, guys. Score was not standing outside with Malrang confused. He was in the brush the whole time until he was hit by the Q and spotted here. We do have the Mountain Drake in about 39 seconds. Seems like both teams really gearing up to try to take this one off the map.
Well, Urgot's walked down, and Akali would have to match. Urgot himself returning to top side. Seems like there's not going to be more than a half-hearted attempt at the Dragon. Just some more control wards going down. I think Jeon should be taking free objectives right now because they are stronger than KT Rolster, but they don't agree. And they're actually going to prefer just playing around Urgot continuing to boss around Akali and the top side of the map being stronger for Jeon.
We'll see what happens here at the Rift Herald as he's totally spotted. Bottom side, though, there is the ultimate from the Taric, trying to get on top of Zenit here. Do they have the damage? SnowFlower, his own ultimate. Here's a fight up here. Tungo with no mana and no flash is going to be ripped out of the Rift. Down he does go, as they saw the Rift Herald play coming in a mile away, and KT able to pounce.
And able to split them apart before Lindarang can actually get there. And that's the part I need to see a replay to fully understand. Return to the bot side.
Oh boy, this time no ultimate from the Taric, and the stun comes in as Root nearly going down, finally does under the turret with the pool.
They want Kellen as well.
Here comes BDD. Fortunately, not pushed enough into the turret. He takes aggro and they back away, but a nice other kill goes to the side of KT.
Sort of thing where I think you're just going begging if you're going no lifesteal item, no corrupting potion, no tier Taric to have unlimited mana to sustain. You can't get over anything other than the first all-in trade. All-in trade gets the Cosmic Radiance. The second trade, well, the base damage is so high, the stain is there, you can't out-trade Vladimir Alistair at that level 9 mark, so clearly no answer from Jeon on the question we were asking at level 1. BDD caught as he's walking between lanes, but it's only going to draw away the ultimate.
He's totally fine. He's beefy Aatrox at this point. Not sure if he picked up that second kill, but at least has an assist. Let's take a look at how this happened.
So it actually started with a Jeon pick. They're trying to go in aggressively. Huge value of the stasis, and then Akali can join the fight before Urgot can get there. It's not like Smeb is actually important in this, but given how much room you had topside with the kill, you should be there first. This is the secondary return to bot side. Hard to respect. Flash, headbutt pulverize at every moment, and there's nothing Root can do. All he has is Storm Razor and a prayer, and his prayers do not get answered.
It's got to be safer in that position. Vlad and on the timing with the empowered Q as well. And you just have to back away and give up 1 or 2 CS in that situation, especially after the fight went the way it did earlier on with the Cosmic Radiance, as you were talking about. Just an unfortunate situation there for the bottom lane of Jeon.
And you just have to lane swap. It's not a great time to lane swap, but it's a possible one, right? Because you already have a turret down, you can put Urgot into the Vladimir Alistair lane and try to play with these lane assignments. Because right now, whenever Cosmic Radiance is on cooldown, it's just kind of a free kill for KT in the bot lane. And Jeon seem to respect that. They're vacating the bottom turret as much as they can. Cosmic Radiance about 5 seconds away from coming back in, but just no lane presence at all for the Kai'Sa and Taric.
Not having a fun time. Protobelt and Sork Boots and a Fiendish Codex for Vlad as he's slowly getting that train going. As he does. Lindarang here in the mid lane once again going for the roam. Not sure if he was spotted, but BDD playing respectful. Not going to be caught out in any gank there bottom lane woes continue as Zenit and SnowFlower doing a good job pushing this one in so far.
So I got a lot of time in the 2 days between the LCK weeks to put games into Vladimir top and also into Orange support, just to understand them a bit more and see how they've changed. Obviously, I've played Vlad before. I think everyone's given it a go. As KT are on top of this Drake, so maybe I'll have to hold off the teaching point. Score himself backing away here, but Malrang seems to not be interested in contesting, and this is around Zenit and SnowFlower, who we know has a skirmishing advantage. What I can appreciate about where Vladimir is right now, watching Nogari's rune page and how he builds the Vladimir, the big takeaway is that because you can go the scaling cooldown reduction in the base stats, you know, and the choice you have of AD or adaptive force, if you go the scaling cooldown reduction and also transcendence, you want to go sorcery either primary or secondary, there's so much CDR there, Valdez, that between those two, you just build Fiendish Codex, Kindle Gem, and you have 40% CDR in the early game. Makes you a beast in the laning phase. We're not going to see the Vladimir on screen right now, but we are actually going to see the Jin Air duo lane.
No TP on Zenit either, and he's not going to be able to get here on time, and KT not comfortable to take the 4v5, which means Rift Herald goes the way of Jin Air. Back timing there for Zenit means he picks up a needlessly large rod, but he's not in position for the fight as Jin Air do get the rotation off first.
But just to finish the thought on Vladimir, for 800 gold Kindle Gem and 900 gold Fiendish Codex, you basically have 40% CDR because of the runes that are available to you now. That means you can go Sorcerer's Shoes. Previously you needed to go for the CDR boots in order to get to near 40%, 45% CDR. Sorcerer's Shoes, Fiendish Codex, and Kindle Gem against AD carry means that by level 9, there's just no way for them to stain through the amount of harass you're doing. And it's just so much stronger an early battle-ready Vladimir than there was in previous rune sets and just previous games, because the free CDR is what's really putting Vladimir over the top recently.
It's able to be flexed too. I wonder if we'll see more of that Vladimir, but maybe teams for now just happy to pick it later in the draft. Want to make sure some of the lanes are safe enough. BDD still having fun up against that one. Here comes Malrang on to score. Will they go for the ultimate? The flash on in, but straight into the Alistair's face. He's forced to ultimate himself. Here is Chung-go. BDD very aggressively getting on in there. Malrang, he's super tanky. He's going to be totally fine as some TPs are used to get into the fight, but no damage is taken.
Chung-go flashed in, couldn't get an aggressive pick on with his ultimate. Ended up just having to self-ult to get through that scenario. No further kills to Jin Air. Gold is very, very even in this game. Malrang has the Rift Tower, but hasn't placed it down yet. The rest of KT are coming.
Ooh, close one there. Chung-go playing with fire as BDD was hiding in the brush for quite a bit. But he makes his way out, and I feel like Zenit is already scary somehow. So
yep.
PTSD from the Vladimir games we've been seeing recently.
Tend to agree with those new options in the rune sets making you powerful earlier. Smeb dives in.
Yeah, Chung-go, no ultimate here. He's just going to be perfectly executed on the backside there by Smeb. And, well, that was an easy one for him. Should build some confidence. See if he moves it in. Nice headbutt pulverize into Lindarang, who has to flash away. To the Cosmic Radiance, and now KT just going to wait this one out. Nice kick by Malrang to just disengage and make sure that no dive comes in from the Vlad or anything like that. And they do back away with only one death on their plate.
But you see how when you're behind the Cosmic Radiance, it's only a nope button for 2.5 seconds. It doesn't allow you to do any damage. They don't do 3,000 damage and take no damage. It's a fully disengaged play. Like you say, Smeb, nice execution on that, but a bit of a slam dunk for him. Cosmic Radiance, when you're already grouped, when you're forcing the enemy to fight, is so big. But when it's used here, KT just say, okay, maybe we'll roll back.
Lots of no buttons, including the kick here from Malrang, saying, nope, get away from my team. That's that. Add another kill onto the board on the side of KT. They also take out a turret on the bottom side. As we're just cresting above 20 minutes right now. Looking for the pick on the Vladimir, but Zenit is going to be totally fine.
Rift Herald charge on the way. BDD top side, so probably a pretty good timing to make this happen. Root takes a empowered Q, and it does, as you can see, a lot of his health bar.
KT failing to hit the eye before the charge comes in. It's kind of a interesting one there. And vision here is Lindarang. Will Smeb bite the bait? Answer is no. So we talked about this draft here from KT, how there are a lot of scary members on the side of them. The chase onto the cow is not going to happen, and everybody's seemingly having a fun time on the side of KT. 1-0-1 Aatrox, 1-0 Vlad, building up his items, nice farm numbers as well. And even Smeb, who got ganked early on by 3 members, is feeling pretty good right now with his Oblivion Orb and the Gunblade already completed.
When it comes to KT, all of their power is focused on team fights. They're a Vladimir draft, so their siege, as we know, pretty abysmal. 1-3-1 isn't going to be super effective because Urgot and Lysandra are 2 of the best at just wave clearing and disengaging, so not actually a lot of kill pressure in the side lane just yet. Maybe with 3 items on an Akali, things can change there. But if you just take every objective as they spawn, with Baron now on the map, that's where good things will happen. Outside of the world's best Cosmic Radiance, there's just so much AoE damage and dive on the side of KT Rolster that they're all about forcing Jin Air to teamfight, and we're going to have to be persuaded that Jin Air have an answer to the teamfight power that KT is drafted for.
So far, you take a look, perhaps if they find a pick onto someone with the Urgot who can fear beyond death and maybe get a big fear, you can really disjoint that team fight from the side of KT.
Fear beyond death.
X-Flash here onto him. There's the Cosmic Radiance for that note button once again. But here comes Zenit. He's not done yet as 2 members underneath the turret in a lot of trouble. Smeb, though, not able to make it happen as he's kicked away. And in fact, nobody goes down under the turret.
But the stasis is a one-time purchase. Very powerful in that case. Seems like Chongo had pulled away to perhaps come for a mid lane play, so will lose his turret, so they do get an objective even if the kills aren't registered. Nice to see that sort of aggressive streak from Zenit, though. Vladimir diving turrets, a pretty normal thought. And speaking of diving turrets, SnowFlower positioning for it.
Certainly thinking about it once again, but the turret will not fall here as Jin Air slowly but surely taking back control of some of the deep vision that's already down on their blue side jungle. Nice job by KT to make that happen.
Jin Air fishing under the turret. KT is so aggressive because they have Akali, Xin-Zhao, Aatrox, Vladimir, all so good at diving turrets here. They have probably the best dive comp we've seen maybe ever in the LCK with how much temporary tankiness and disengage of turret shots they can do. And yeah, bit of a gasp from the crowd. That one rotation onto Chongo. No armor yet, no Zhonya's on the way, so Chongo pretty squishy to BDD's damage.
Chongo comes in, gets a fantastic kill. And then, unfortunately, struggles against BDD. Speaking of which, Kellen in a ton of trouble here is going to be poked with the spear by Score, who is able to pick up that kill on the backside.
Case in point about the dives. That was the inner turret before the outer turret had even gone down. Nowhere is safe, and I think Jin Air are going to have to pose aggressive questions of KT, because if they're just trying to clear waves, I think KT is going to take every opportunity to dive. Here is the dive we're talking about. Xin-Zhao has Hysterics, Aatrox, so there's dive onto Kellen. Cosmic Radiance not going to be a savior in this case. That means mid lane gets longer, and KT get the opportunity to light up the Baron side with wards that Jin Air will do well to clear.
You begin to look at some of the items on the side of KT, you can tell that they're trying to put the nail in the coffin already as Vlad picks up his Rabadon's Death Cap and a Blasting Wand. I thought it was going to stop at the cap, but he's not capped out yet. Feeling pretty good about his Vlad game here. Looking much better than the Victor in the early game especially.
Nice thing about Vladimir is while the early laning phase isn't as strong, he was against a no-sustain bot lane. And then once level 9 hits, you just get to be a frontliner. You don't have to worry about those backline positions. Think about his positioning on Victor. He was actually caught out many times in the mid game, but in those positions on Vladimir, you're actually the one picking out the enemies. So a much more happy place to be, a lot clearer is your identity in the 5v5. So Zenit strolls through. Jin Air just wave clearing under their inner turret And the map is very, very dark from a Jin Air perspective.
Yeah, you gotta wonder if Coach saw Zenit's playing game one. He's like, you seem like a Vlad player to me. Let's put you on Vlad. The way they just auto-locked that one in and immediately handed it over to Zenit was kind of funny on the backside. So we'll see what Jin Air can do here in terms of stopping KT. As BDD and Score now threatening the engage. Here's the Cosmic Radiance. Want to shut down Score, but he does have that Sterix. He's extremely tanky, funnily enough. There's the big engage from SnowFlower. Knocks up 2 onto the backside of this fight, and in goes BDD as the Aatrox. Just going to shut everybody down, as does Smeb. It's a near total wipe as only Malrang with full health goes home with his tail between his legs. KT, they're looking at Baron.
The dive just too powerful. They open with the Cosmic Radiance at the right time, but unfortunately, they're not grouped to actually put in more damage onto KT. KT can turn, KT take them down. Malrang was spotted, I believe, on a ward bot side, which meant the Baron was always going to be uncontested. He'd love an Infernal Drake, but that's the most that Jin Air will claim.
Ping goes down onto him, and now Smeb is making his way. I think Malrang's just going to have to hop away from this one. Spotted, saves his W, hops away. And that means that thank you for the leash is true in this one, as Smeb is just going to pick up the Infernal Drake Force team alongside the Baron. And this time around, KT looking a lot stronger. They're looking for the 2-0 over Jin Air tonight.
So watch the replay. For once, they actually use the ult quite early to try to re-engage, but unfortunately for them, Kai'Sa does no damage while they are invulnerable. So because of that, the health bars are pretty high on KT for the turn, and they are champions who we've already mentioned have double Sterix, they have the ability to go and sell stasis, they have Aatrox ult. It's so hard to actually get anything more than a soft claw onto KT. It's so hard to do lethal damage to them. So because of that, they re-engage, the damage numbers shared among 4 members of KT Rolster, and now they have the Baron. Remember how I said they were good at diving before? They're better at diving now.
They're super tanky now with Baron and all the extra items they just picked up. Void Staff here for Vlad. Always like to keep track of where his items are. Doesn't seem like Jin Air can do much. Stun trying to come in, but knocked away is Kellen. Scoring a little bit of trouble, but now here comes SnowFlower. He wants to re-engage Smeb from behind. Is going to be immediately ulted here, but he is in the Shroud. And Roots, he is so low, he's going to be stomped down by BDD on that Aatrox, who is just incredibly strong at this point in time. Takes out one, takes out another. Is going to stopwatch even for the ultimate style points. Gets a triple kill, and once again, Malrang, the rest of his team falls around him. Looks like KT have finally put the nail in the coffin.
Malrang 1-0-1. He's not going to die in this game, but his team is going to lose. They fought that with Cosmic Radiance on cooldown. I think Jin Air are done.
That looks like it. Game number 2 goes the way of KT Rolster as the Nexus goes down. Finally something for KT fans to be happy about. A 2-0 victory tonight.
And it turns out that Game 2 was a better performance than Game number 1, so maybe just some victories are the tonic KT needs to rise up the standings. They will now be ahead of Jin Air Green Wings. They will no longer be 10th place. Not the biggest thing to smile about, but you got to take every win when you can when you're at the bottom of the table. And it's this roster, it's Smeb and Score maintaining their spot, but they actually find their first match victory in Lolpark.
Some hugs here from SnowFlower, some of the Jin Air players. He's been there before, and he's here now on KT Rolster.